Hello, Professor Ewing. This is Jabeen, and I did my individual research project on Islam. And the reason I chose that was because since I'm Pakistani and a Christian, Islam really affects my family, and I just wanted to get a better understanding of what it is and how it's practiced. And the the culture really it's an amazing culture, honestly, to me personally. And I love learning about Islam. I had a boss who was Muslim, and she used to really give me some insight on it a lot. And I used to watch her pray and practice her wuzu, and that was just so unique to me, and it made me want to learn more about Islam. So Islam is the official language, not the language, sorry, the official name of the religion. And it started in Medina, Saudi Arabia, as we discussed in class, which is in the Middle East. And it has about 1.62 billion followers or adherents. And it is also the fastest growing religion in the world. And I believe it's fairly new since it started in 632 AD, compared to many of the other religions we've discussed in class. Let's see. In Islam, a Muslim believes that Muhammad was the last prophet, and to him was revealed the teachings of Allah. And Muslims also believe that there's only one God, who is in Arabic Allah, and He is the most unique and incomparable deity, or not deity, but He's the only God that they have. And what I saw, and like a lot of my information is just from like what I've already known about Islam, and like growing up, like what my parents would tell me, and what I've learned from my boss, Shkila, and talking to the lady yesterday, April, who was a convert from Catholicism and Christianity, and also what we've discussed in class. So what I've learned as the worldview is that the foundation for Islamic worldview is in Allah and the Prophet Muhammad and the Quran. And the worldview began at the birth of Muhammad, which was in 570 AD. And I've learned in class that Islam means submission, and Muslim means one who submits. And I thought that was unique because that defines how Muslims see their relationship with Allah. And to me, that was like pretty unique. And also, like nowadays in our Western culture, the Islamic religion culture, it's viewed upon negatively just because of a few extremists that have tormented Americans, their own citizens in Iraq and Syria, and also in Iran, Libya, and Yemen. And to me, I've learned that it's a pretty peaceful religion. Like everyone I see is highly devoted to Allah, and they really, like during Ramadan, they learn that like Allah is all that really matters, and there's nothing better than Allah. And something that's pretty unique to me is that they pray 5 times a day, and they wash themselves in certain ways, as discussed in this book, which says make wudu and salah. It even shows how they wash themselves. First, they have to wash both their hands, and then they have to wash. This is strictly like instructed. They wash their mouth, and then they wash their, or they clean their nose, and how they clean their nose, and how they're supposed to wash. Everything has to be done in a certain manner, and they have to wash their face 3 times from ear to ear, forward, forehead to chin, and it says making sure that there is no part on their face left dry. And if a man has a beard, he must take a handful of water with the right hand and rub it beneath the chin, and also pass the fingers through the beard, which, like, and especially my religion, Christianity, we don't have anything that's that strict. And they have to wash their arms, their forehead, their hair, like their ears, their feet. And then they have cleansed themselves. And there are like prerequisites of salah, their prayer, and they have to make sure that you're praying during the correct time, because they have from like before dawn to after sunset, and so they have to pray according to their times. And for their clothing, certain parts of the body have to be covered, and the women have to have their head covered, which I learned because my boss doesn't wear a hijab. But when she does pray, she covers her head. And they have to pray facing Mecca, which, like, I would have to take my compass out. I wouldn't know how, to do all that. So it's unique to me. And they have to, in their prayers, there's like certain rituals or certain actions or movements that they have to do. They raise their hands, they hold their arms like this, and I'm not exactly sure to why they do these certain movements, but like it's so unique that they say like Allahu Akbar, which means Allah is the greatest, and then they pray holding themselves. And it didn't explain to why, so that's why I was kind of clueless. And they bow, and I used to see my boss just sit there, and after she was done with her salah, she would sit there for her dua, which also means prayer, but that's just your own personal time with Allah. The Islam and Muslim followers, they have to follow the 5 pillars of Islam, which is pretty like obligated for every Muslim to follow, or else they aren't really considered a Muslim, is what I read. And in this book, Islam is where I got my information for this section. And sorry. They have to fast for the first one's fasting, charity, praying 5 times a day, and making a pilgrimage or Hajj to Mecca. And from there they travel to Medina, and also that is also a part of the Hajj. And then they have to do the Shahada, which is their declaration or their testification to Allah. That's like their rite of initiation as well. So once they complete that, that makes them a Muslim. And I learned that there is a clergy who leads the Islamic worships. He serves as the community leader, and he also provides counseling for whenever religious guidance, really, for whenever that's needed. Their clergy is known as an imam, and in our culture we call him a molvi or a mullah. And scholars are important to the community. The men are called uluma, sorry if I'm not saying this correct, and the women scholars are pronounced alima. Their main specialty is in the Islamic jurisprudence, and they are also considered the arbiters of the Sharia law. And they do have a sacred writing, and that's known as the Quran, and that's their holy book, as in Christianity is the Bible, and Judaism is the Torah, Hinduism the Gita, and etc. They have Jummah namaz around noon, and that's like their regular service, which is the most important prayer, I was told. And the lady I asked yesterday, April, she said that their rituals are pretty simple that she's learned. To me personally, they seem a bit complex because you have to do certain things a certain way, and there are also like limitations, and you're prohibited from eating pork and drinking and doing drugs, which is almost common in all three of the Abrahamic religions. And yeah, this religion's like pretty unique to me, actually, and I love learning. I'm honored to do this project. Their code of ethics are like I mentioned here on my paper. Sorry, the Quran has moral commandments. It's in the 17th chapter of the Quran, and it's known as Al-Isra, from verses 22 to 37. And the first one being worship one God. 2, be kind to your parents. 3, do not just like waste your money. Like that's something you can give to someone and help someone out. Do not engage in mercy killings. Do not commit adultery. And a lot of the things mentioned here were in the 10 Commandments, which was pretty cool. And do not kill unjustly, care for orphan children, keep one's promise, be honest and fair, don't be arrogant. A lot of this is like just a way of life. It's April said that she doesn't look at as Islam as a way of a religion, but honestly a way of life. And Muslims also have a book known as the Hadith, and which has narrations about the Sunnah. And Sunnahs are just practices that a Muslim acts out. Certain, like I was told that if you sit down on the floor and eat, that's a Sunnah. If you drink water with your right hand, that's a Sunnah. Like certain things that Muhammad did as a person, those are considered a Sunnah. And the Islamic calendar is a lunar calendar, which consists of 12 months in a year, and each year has 354 days. And that's pretty much all I've learned. Well, the basics actually, but I would like to add that I use these 3 books as my sources. This is a brief illustrated guide to understanding Islam, which was basically talking about religion and science in Islam. And this is Make Wudu and Salah, written by Muhammad Adli. And this is also